Guys, this is a video review. It's a review of the consultation that I conduct. Briefly, you can watch and understand how everything happens. We will analyze your personal project, your vision, possibly some mistakes, possibly some strengths that you specifically have and you decided to engage in wall printing. Next, there will be audio, so just listen and analyze. I'm in touch. My WhatsApp is below and in the description of the video. See you next time. What else I want to add? When you get excited about an idea like wall printing and buy a printer, it would seem that everything is very simple. Find a seller, write to each other, buy, and now this miracle device is in your home or office. And then a bunch of questions arise, a bunch of information, which, well, is nowhere to be found. No books, no instructions. The Chinese send instructions for working with the printer and setting it up in the format of 1 or 2 A4 sheets. And you have huge question marks in your eyes. Where to find information? Who to contact? Are you ready to find a specialist? Help, save us. A wall printer is professional equipment. It's electronics from an electronics supermarket. Therefore, I understand you. I really do. When you realize in hindsight that you need to find information somewhere, thanks to the fact that I have been involved in wall printing for more than 8 years, I have accumulated extensive experience working with various types of wall printers through my YouTube channel. I help develop this topic practically all over the world. Anyone searching for information on the internet will inevitably come across my YouTube channel and get acquainted with my videos. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out. This video, a consultation review, is like a visual guide, right? You might learn something useful for yourself even now, but there is an enormous sea of information. And it's best if I analyze your case individually. Then you will save time and consequently money, because you can spend a very long time tinkering, setting up the printer, as they say, looking for a needle in a haystack.
So you haven't done any intensive advertising yet, right?
No, we've created an Instagram and a Facebook group, but we haven't started advertising yet. We're just doing it for ourselves for now, until we learn, as they say, to do everything beautifully. Then, maybe...
Got it. All right. Well, about those photos you sent. In the barbershop, there are some issues, right? Well, we'll discuss this now. Just outline for me what your main global tasks are. What problems?
The main problem, for example, is when someone sends me a picture, I convert it to CMYK mode in Photoshop, but the colors don't match when I print, my test print. Seems fine in terms of colors, or the lines are all good. But, for example, like yesterday, I sent you that picture of the barber and the red came out brown instead of red.
Well, look, so to make sure that your printer is working correctly, there are 2 possibilities for the color change. Either you prepared the image incorrectly. That's the first case. The second case is if your printer is malfunctioning and the nozzles are clogged. So when, for example, the red doesn't fully print, more yellow might come through instead, and the color becomes, say, brown. Well, I'm explaining it roughly to you now, so you understand the concept. Therefore, you need to monitor and understand the process of obtaining the color in the image. In order to the first step to sort of eliminate the problem, yes, you should create a test image. For example, as I suggest, you create in Photoshop a red square, yellow, green, blue, red, black, even black. And printed out. And you check, is this color on the computer the same as on the wall or not? So basically, in professional printing, there is a special service called color correction, where a print is made and then a special driver is written that adjusts the color delivery to the printer head. But with Chinese wall printers, this is all basically standard. That is, there is one file. It is already embedded in the computer, and there is no point in changing it. You can manually change the color, adjust it if you don't like it, or if you want to, for example, just enhance it. Do you have the Beta Printer Management Program installed?
Yes, Beta. Yeah. Printer, yes.
Yes, you go into the Beta Printer, there is color rendering, adjustment, and you can play around with it there. But then you need to record all the adjustments you made and save them as a separate file. Then you can simply specify to print according to this profile. But, as a rule, in most cases, the driver installed on the printer is generally sufficient. I mean, obviously, you won't be able to print trademark colors like Coca-Cola's with the printer, but if it's red, it will be red. Yes, there will be some very subtle differences, almost unnoticeable, but generally, it will satisfy all clients. So, color reproduction. Moving on to the second stage, so to speak. This is when you print red, but it turns out brown on the wall. What could be the cause? Most likely, the nozzles on the print head are clogged.
These are like cartridges, as I understand it. Or are they the tubes that carry the ink to the head?
Are you asking what nozzles are?
Yes. What are they?
They are very small holes in the print head through which the ink is ejected.
Got it, got it.
And before printing, you perform a test. Well, have you done that, tell me?
Yes, I do it every time. But there, in this better print, you press Ctrl R, and there's immediately this test image. Well,
wait. Well, let's do it this way. Do you happen to have those tests on hand to send me? Because there's a flash. It's like a test too, with these horizontal stripes of all colors. And is there a test when you press the button? Well, now there's like a small target circle, small.
So that's the kind of test image I make.
There's an express test on the better printer. Look, see there at the top left, there's a circle. There's a drop. Then move to the left. Lift it a bit higher. Raise your phone a little higher. There.
Right. Here.
See this broom? And adjust. You press it and your test starts printing squares on the wall. But to avoid ruining the wall, you tape paper with some painter's tape. Got it? And you do the test. You get squares of all colors like red, yellow, blue, black.
Adjust. That's when the adjust is done.
Yes.
Got it.
And there are squares, but the squares consist of thin lines. And each line is made up of small dashes. And each of these dashes is a nozzle. If one dash is missing, your nozzle is clogged. And consequently, the color doesn't get there during printing. Well, for example, if the yellow is missing or the blue, you'll have such a stripe.
I had such a case, but when I asked the Chinese, when not all the lines were there, when I did this flush, they said to do this head suction with a syringe and then blow it out at 256 megahertz. I did it like that a couple of times, and it seemed that the problem was resolved at that moment. How? What other options are there, for example, to clean these nozzles?
Look. This is like a workout for the human body. That is, before each print, you have to do these tests, and it clogs instantly. And you can print, and suddenly, the nozzle gets clogged, and you might have such a case. Red, then suddenly a brown stripe appeared in the middle, got it? So the next picture, not the next, but, half of this column you showed me in the photo is red, and then suddenly it's brown. What does that mean? It means the nozzles are clogged, and the red or yellow channel is blocked and you get a brown color. That's why it's very important to do this test before printing so you understand that all your channels are working. Next. The distance from the wall to the head during printing is very important. What do you set? What distance?
Well, I make it as close as possible, but then I turn on this mode so the head moves because the walls are uneven, and then it adjusts itself.
Yes. So the working distance is about 3 millimeters. That's ideal. Then the head starts to jitter. If the wall is very uneven, accordingly, it moves further away, then comes closer. And that's kind of the nuance. If the head moves further away from the wall, dusting begins. So the stream doesn't reach, it disperses, and this part of the dust gets...
By the way, I noticed when printing that even a little cloud was visible.
Yes, that's very bad. In other words, the head is basically dirtying itself. And accordingly, you need to understand that if you're going to print a large area, like walls, and the wall is uneven, most likely you won't print it with good quality. So either the color will be off or stripes will start to appear. In other words, a striped pattern will begin. So in this case, there are really no tips to give. The only thing is to pause the printer, you understand? That is, don't turn it off, just pause it and clean it. How to clean it? Do clean. So you insert paper or a napkin under the print head, turn on the clean function, and there. Well, there's a clean and a flush. Yes, flush. Flush is to ensure the print head doesn't dry out. It constantly, let's say, spits out ink even when idle.
I do the flush even, for example, when I arrive, and before each new drawing we do a flush. Well,
yes.
But this clean, honestly, I've never done the clean yet. I probably should have done it.
Well, clean you, look, you do the clean when you've done a test, and you see that your heads are clogged. Well, the nozzles are clogged. Then you do the clean. There is a clean type. Well, like small and large. That is, at full power. And like a regular clean. So as a rule, a little ink is used up. So, well, if you do two small ones and see it doesn't help, then you do a second. Third, strong one, you can do a third. Well, roughly speaking, if the head is clogged, then one clean won't help. So you will need to seriously flush the head like constantly press to achieve a proper test.
About these lines, a question. You mentioned that the lines are visible, for example. I did this flash, and my lines come out as dots, not lines, like little dots. Is that very bad?
Well, it indicates clogged nozzles. So you should have these straight lines, like yellow, red, blue, black. If it's dots, then, well, the head is just dirty, and you won't have a quality print at all. So you might draw some kind of sketch in a muddy color, but the client won't accept it.
Ah, got it. All right, then we'll do a clean. What are the options? How else can you clean this head if it doesn't help?
If it doesn't help, then what the Chinese told you. There's a square cap, like a suction cup, with a syringe. So you should have, well, this suction cup, I don't know your printer model, but on printers that are above like $7,000 to $10,000, there's an automatic suction cup. If you don't have it, you just place it against the head, tightly, right?
Yes, indeed.
And you use the syringe to suck out the ink. Meanwhile, your ink bottle should be open. Got it? There you go.
Fully open or just unscrewed?
Well, the main thing is that atmospheric pressure gets into the bottles. You can unscrew them, but the main thing is that it's not a vacuum, right? So not tightly closed. There you go.
Got it.
And you start sucking. Suck out a cube, then you do the test again, you do it, got it? Test. Look at the picture. If it's bad, suck again. But if, I'll tell you from my experience, if you have a flash like that, as you said, with dots, you'll spend 2, 3, 4 hours on cleaning. But the head, your head is probably already dead.
Uh-huh.
Exactly. So if it's that clogged, you won't be able to clean it. You can clean it when only 2 or 3 nozzles are clogged. When it just starts, like coughing, stumbling. If it's already that blocked, it's a problem. Well, you need to try. You have to try everything to get a hands-on feel, to understand it.
Uh-huh. But I saw that these heads aren't that expensive. This one, where I use the TX 800, is what I have.
Yes.
I looked at it today. You can buy it for 120 euros.
Yes. And where did you look? In Europe or in China?
I looked in both China and Europe. But the prices are similar, give or take, maybe a 20 euro difference.
Look, so the prices are from $50 to $250. It seems like the heads are the same. Firstly, you can order from those you bought from before. They will have an average price, but, well, kind of a guarantee that they will work. What's the catch with these heads? All these heads are refurbished. That is, there are no original Japanese heads, they are all used. When they break down like this, the Chinese disassemble them, put in new gaskets, membranes, seal them, and sell them as new. Got it? So, the cheaper the price, the worse they are refurbished. And here you need to find a kind of compromise, a balance, yes. That is, don't buy the cheap ones, and there's no point in buying the expensive ones either. So you look for an average price, well, like 120, 150, up to, well, I looked in dollars. That's a reasonable price.
Got it. All right, well, then we'll try to clean it. Then if it doesn't work, we'll buy it. What else can we do?
Yes. So look, we're in touch. As you go along, if questions arise, call and ask questions. We'll have a question answer, exchange and help you reach a certain level of independence.
All right, then thank you. That's enough for today, I guess. I'll get on with this cleaning now, and then we'll see what's next.
All right. Well, go ahead, do it. Well, basically, do it or don't do it. I think once you do the tests now, it will be clear that those squares aren't there. When was the last time you did this test? What did you just show me? Where the girl is the squares?
Yesterday. I did it yesterday before starting the print. There were stripes in that test. There were a few stripes. But everything seemed to print fine in black. Only with the color, this brown, there was a problem.
Well, let's say do it. Now you'll set it up, clean it, and run the tests. In principle, this test on the better printer will be, well, informative. That is, it will show if there are any gaps, right? But when you install the new head, print this, well, this image, you'll see the saturation, well, the print quality, right? And then, over time, you'll understand how this saturation fades. For example, if the pink becomes paler, in that sense.
Got it. All right, then let's do it.
Timur, do you have 2 color heads or 1 color and 1 white?
As far as I know, 2 heads. But the lower one is color. The upper one, I think, well, there are no colors there. Well.
So you have a white one. Did you buy the printer with white ink?
Yes, there is ink.
Did you use the white ink?
I printed a zebra BU for a friend in the kids' room, but the white didn't really show up.
So, look, if you filled it with white ink, well, like printed, or didn't print, the head with the white ink also died. That's a kind of the problem. These are dispersion inks if you don't mix them. They settle into sediment and turn into stone, or rubber inside the printer. Accordingly, your print head has already solidified like sclerosis in a person's blood vessels. Our cholesterol turns into stone, and that's it. You can't wash it off with anything. That's why you change the white ink path. You change it. Well, again, I'm getting a bit ahead of myself, right? Right now, your task is to try to clean the heads, but then you change them, and definitely when you buy the heads, you buy filters. There are small black boxes. inside the back of the print head. You need to buy those too.
Well, they sent me a couple as spares, but I'll keep it in mind when I buy them.
Yes, buy them. They are generally cheap. So it's better to have more than not enough.
Got it. All right. I have another question. We're thinking of buying another printer while we have the money, but we want one that can print on the floor. Do you know anything about it?
Look, 2 pieces of advice. These walnut-twisted printers are very unstable in operation. Try to learn with one printer so that it works for you, tailored to your needs. Right now it works. You work for it. In other words, roughly speaking, on weekends or free days, you'll be lying under it. And it will have its way with you. Well, to put it bluntly, because it doesn't work, you repair it when you learn to operate it. To repair it so that you want it to work, and it does. Then it will make sense to buy a second, third, fourth, and increase the volume. At this stage, it's just driving you crazy. Yes, and you're just, well, kind of, in shock, like you need to work, but something broke. It doesn't print here. The color changed there. There are stripes. Exactly. Regarding the floor printer, where do you want to use it?
Well, I don't even know. It's just that a friend of mine came up with this idea who is looking for clients like barbershops and so on. And he says, probably one won't be enough for us if things take off here. And we thought it would be good to have a function that prints on the floor right away.
Got it.
That's what he wants.
I'll tell you this. There's no point in buying a floor printer. It's impractical. I haven't encountered practical orders for floor printing. Why? Because the design still needs to be covered with something like a varnish. And then the question is where to apply it. On parquet? No. Well, like on stone? No. In some shopping center, it's easier, bouquets, and cheaper to stick self-adhesive floor decals. They last for a month. When the time comes, the promotion ends and they are removed. Your floor printer will still be expensive and temporary because people will wear it down with sand on their shoes. And it's like, a kind of Chinese scam, like an additional cool feature. I don't understand how this is for us. Well, let's say impractical. Yes, it's cool, but impractical.
You print on the floor, but people walk quickly, so it will wear off. Well, it's not very good either. Thank you for the advice then. But okay, then I'll take care of this cleaning and let you know.
All right.
How it turned out.
Okay.
Thank you for the information. Well,
all right. Take care. Stay in touch. Bye.
Take care.